if you're starting like 10 months prior to CAT, then you should start giving 1 or 2 mocks every month. I did actually, like, being a non-engineer, like I wasn't really good at algebra or geometry, and like even in actual exam I didn't attempt many questions from those particular topics, and I usually panicked while I also panicked while solving the set. So this that was the section that I had to focus the most on. I would suggest that first of all you should be flexible with your strategy, and you should listen to your seniors who have given the exam before, and your teachers.
Hello everyone. Today we have with us Samridh. He has scored 99.89 percentile in CAT 2021. That's a very good score in CAT because he's a fresher, he's a non-engineer, he's currently pursuing BCom honors from Delhi University. Today he's with us to share his preparation journey and also how he cracked the CAT in the first attempt, and also many more such valuable insights related to CAT prep. All right. Hello, Samridh. First of all, a big congratulations on scoring 99.89 percentile in CAT in your first attempt.
Thank you, thanks a lot.
So, first, let us discuss about your CAT preparation journey. Can you tell us when you started preparing for CAT and how many months before the exam you started your preparation and all that?
So I was in my second year when I did a couple of internship, and I realized that I
Okay.
was like interested in pursuing an MBA. So I started my preparation in January of 2021. So I had around 9 to 10 months of time left before CAT 2021. So this was sufficient enough time for me to basically brush up all my concepts from like in English and like logical reasoning and mathematics. So I did not read much, neither I was like really good at quantitative aptitude. So I needed some time, to start from right from the start. I started with Cracku in January of 2021 only. So I was enrolled in their
Okay.
daily targets and mock series. So they did daily targets were like really helpful for me for basically those were the things that I started my day's preparation with. It basically set up the tone for the day by giving me a taste of like all the sections. And I felt that the mocks were also actually like mocks were also like gave like had a really good set of questions, and the user interface was also like same as per the actual exam. So I also gave a lot of mocks, which basically made me accustomed with like the actual exam. And when I went into the like actual D day, so it didn't feel like I was like giving an exam, and it just felt like I was giving another mock.
Right. Okay, that's great. So you started 9 months before your preparation, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So you started 9 months before your exam, before the CAT exam. So how many months did you take to finish the basics, and then like how many months did you allot for the mocks roughly?
Initially I actually started my preparation on the wrong foot. Like I felt that
Okay.
like I was like if I talk about one particular section, that is like VARC, then I felt that I was focused too much on the reading comprehension and not on the actual reading part. I feel that like
Okay.
reading from a variety of topics is really important because it helps you to step up your comprehension skills and basically improve your vocabulary, and basically get you familiarized with a lot of topics. So this was one thing that I missed out on in the early phases, but I actually worked on it. I read a lot, I read every day, and didn't focus too much on like the actual solving the actual questions. I left it for some time after that. So basically the best thing that I could do for to improve my VRC scores was to read from a lot of areas. So in quantitative aptitude, I'd say that I started from the basics. Like I even solved like NCRT 11th and 12th chapters. Like I
Okay.
picked up some of the topics like probability and PNC, which were my strengths. So I picked up those topics and started solving from the basic, and then I moved on to the basic initial, I moved on to the higher level questions in a phased manner. In DILR, like I basically for the first 3 to 4 months I tried to basically get like good with the basic concepts like drawing, basically drawing a Venn diagram, solving basic puzzles and sudokus and all that stuff. Like I did that for like a couple for 3 to 4 months, and then after that I basically stepped up the difficulty level each day, like as and when my school as my scores were gradually improving to the higher levels. Then I started solving like the past 10-year papers of CAT exams to basically get an idea of how the actual questions come.
Okay.
I also like I used the past 10-year CAT papers so to basically get an idea of how the questions come. So I saw was that questions are basically a combination of two to three topics, and so basically they combine all those topics to like make one good set of question. So I basically stepped up the difficulty level phase wise, and then I gave as a like I tried solving the study materials and gave a lot of mocks to basically improve, and my scores gradually improved in that section. So for the like I'd say like the first 3 months I was I focused on the basics, and
Okay.
the next 3 months were basically trying to solve the past year questions, and like seeing like trying to solve the past year questions, and the last final 3 months were basically focused on mocks, that I have to solve
Okay.
all the questions that like I gave a lot of mocks in the past 3 months. So I tried solving more like all the questions that came in my mock exams. So I felt that was like a good enough preparation to get familiar with all types of questions.
Okay. So did you take a mock in the initial stages, like before you started your preparation, or you finished the basics first and then started with the mocks? How did you?
Uh, I actually tried giving some mocks like in my initial phases of preparation, but like I scored
Okay.
like very low I did score like very low marks, so I was basically quite demotivated, and I avoided giving mocks for the like next couple of months. But I feel that like low scores are a part of your CAT preparation journey, and you should accept those, and but you shouldn't stop giving your mocks. You should basically start giving like a 1 month, like if you're starting like 10 months prior to CAT, then
Right.
you should start giving 1 or 2 mocks every month, and then basically increase your mocks like as you come closer to your CAT exam. Because like even only when you give you the mocks, then you will be able to find out your strengths and weaknesses and then work on them.
That's right. Yes. All right. Now, can you tell us in detail how you prepared for each section, the VARC, LRDI, and the quant sections?
So if I talk about QA, so like in my
Okay.
first couple of months of preparation, when I was like basically done with all the basics, then I picked up like one particular chapter from each of the from the study materials. But then when I was
Okay.
when I completed the chapter, then I tried to give some sectional text on the chapter. So this basically gave me an idea of how well prepared I was. Like so I did that from for all basically all chapters, and then I started then I did the second revision of those chapters where I was like not scoring well enough. So this was something that I did for the next like 4 to 5 months, and this to like and
Okay.
I was basically and then like in the last couple of months I tried giving as many mocks as I can and solving all the questions that come in the actual that basically come in the actual exam. And this was basically
Okay.
a revision that I got from by basically revising all the topics.
Right. Okay. So that's how you approached quant. Being a non-engineer, did you face any difficulty while preparing for the quant section? And if yes, how did you overcome that difficulty?
I did actually, like being a non-engineer, like I wasn't really good at algebra or geometry, and like even in my
Okay.
actual exam, I didn't attempt many questions from those particular topics. But I knew
Okay.
that I was good in arithmetic and number systems, and fortunately for me, the like almost 50% of the paper comes from those topics. So what I did was that I tried to get even better at those topics, and I made sure that I was able to solve almost all the questions of basically of any difficulty level that I'm able to solve those questions. So that was that was the thing that I focus most on, like to be able to solve most of the arithmetic and number
Right.
system questions.
Arithmetic.
Like so
Okay.
when I did actually so like I tried solving, like in the 40 minutes that you get in the exam, I tried solving all those questions in round one. And then I also did some basics of algebra and geometry, so that like if any question comes where you have to like apply some straight up formula, formula, so I remember the formula and I can apply it there on.
Right. Right. Okay. Now let's discuss about your VARC and your LRDI.
So I wasn't much of a reader, so I felt that like I had to read and I had to read a lot. So I followed like a couple of different websites to read from. So I read like from Aeon essays. I read from the Hindu. Basically, I read from the Economist, and these were some of the websites that these were the some of the websites that I followed regularly. So I did
Okay.
my reading. I read for like 1.5 day till the start to the end of my preparation. And did try solving like a couple of exercise each week for VARs
Okay.
for RCs. An exercise contains basically 5 passages, and I gave it like and I tried to solve it within like 40-45 minutes to basically
Okay.
focus on my speed also. So this was pretty much, if you read regularly and try solving some RCs then each week, then I think your English will be mostly covered.
Right. Okay.
In logical reasoning and data interpretation, like important thing in the first couple of months, it would be to basically get a good grip on some basic types of questions, like some basic puzzles and sudokus and Venn diagrams, because these are some concepts that come commonly in the exams. I did all these, and like in the next 3 to 4 months, I tried solving like questions from my study material and some past year papers to get an idea of the actual questions. And from then on, like it was mostly like I was mostly done with with the concept part, and it was all about choosing the right sets and solving them in
Right.
the stipulated time. So this was I did this through by just giving a lot of mocks. When like after giving a lot of mocks, I felt that I was able to choose the right set of questions. And like if I was choosing the right question, I was able to solve 2 to 3 questions, two to three sets, 2 to 3 sets out of 4, which was basically enough to clear all the sectional cutoffs and get a good enough score.
Okay. That's great. So now let's talk about your mocks. So how many mocks did you take, and what was your mock analyzing strategy?
So like I gave around 40 to 45 mocks during my whole preparation. So I gave around, like I started giving mocks in February, and I gave like
Okay.
around 1 or 2 mocks from February till March, from
Okay.
February till May. And then after that, I just basically stepped up the number of mocks each month. Like I gave around 2 to 3 mocks in June, July. Then I gave
Okay.
4 to 5 to 6 mocks in the rest of the months. So the basic strategy revolved around basically spending like 1 to 2 hours on each mocks, like to identify my strengths and weaknesses. So most of the time I felt that I could have done better in DILR, because I felt that in the starting I wasn't able to basically identify the right sets, and I usually panicked while I also panicked while solving the set. So this that was the section that I had to focus the most on. So whenever like I gave a mock, I tried solving all the questions, even the ones that I solved during the actual exam. I tried solving them again to get a good grip on those ideas. In quants, so the aim was, like, since I wasn't really good in geometry or algebra, So I try to look at the type of question that came in those topics, so that I could basically try to find out the type of question that come from those topics, and basically kind of memorize it to some extent, those concepts and formulas, so that I can apply it in the exam. In English, so in English, I felt that I had a good reading speed, so I was able to solve most of the questions. So I didn't have to worry much about
Right.
the difficulty
Hmm.
level of the question, and I just started in a chronological order, and I aimed for a higher accuracy.
Okay. Now, while taking these mock tests, was there any phase where you felt very demotivated, maybe because of your low mock scores? And if yes, how did you handle that?
So yes, like actually my mock scores, I scored like very low marks during my initial phases of preparation, and even during the final phases, my mock scores were fluctuating a lot. So like there was like I felt like whenever I scored low in my any of the mocks, I felt like disheartened. But I didn't let that affect me much. Like I just gave myself a day off or some time off to recover from the setback. I knew that like I was just getting better even if it didn't reflect in my score. So I knew that I had to keep going on, and if I just keep going on, then the results will show on actual exam day. Uh, that's it.
Yeah, okay. So you're a fresher and you scored 99.89 percentile in your first attempt. And what are some of those mistakes that a fresher needs to avoid? Someone who is aiming to score someone who is aiming to score 99 plus percentile in their first attempt.
So like one of the things that like most of the people who are in their final year would face, that of managing their college and
Right,
that MBA preparation like simultaneously. So like this was I only had online classes and exams, so like this is like this to some extent is the burden of managing the both the things simultaneously. So yes, like I knew that like I wanted to do an MBA, and like the sooner I did it, the better it was. So I knew that like my MBA preparation would was my top priority, and then so like what I did was that I made up a plan for each day. I basically allotted the number of topics and the number of topics that I had to do each day, and started with those topics. Only when I was done with those topics, then I moved on to my college classes, and basically try to balance those things. Also like what we can the good thing would be to basically spend more times on weekends, and more times on weekends, because we do not have any classes on those days. This was
right.
this was one thing that making a timetable and following it was like one of the things that made me balance both the things simultaneously. Like I feel that when you're in college, there's a large number of things that are going on. You're doing some extracurricular activities, you're also focusing on your college exams, and you're also trying to prepare for some entrance exams. I would suggest that you should try to minimize all the most you should try to minimize the things as much as possible. You should try to keep one or two things as your priority, and give most of your time there, and only when you're done with those things, then you should devote the times to other activities, because trying to juggle between a lot of things will only create problem, and you won't be able to do your best at any area.
Brilliant. So during your entire preparation, what's that most important thing that actually helped you improve your scores in CAT in any section?
So like if I talk about English, like I would suggest that read as much as you can, and read from as diverse sources as you can. In quantitative aptitude, the most important thing is to be have a good grip on the concepts from the right from the getting good at the fundamentals of each topic. And like in DILR, important thing is to analyze the mocks and choosing the right set of questions. Like if we talk about the exam as a whole, the most important thing would be to basically give a lot of mocks and analyze those mocks properly. because CAT is basically not just about like having the knowledge to solve the question, but also choosing the right set of questions and solving them in like at a very fast pace. So like you will be only able to do those you will only be able to do a lot of questions only if you have a lot of mocks under your belt and you have analyzed your strengths and weaknesses and have worked on that.
Okay, that's great. So finally, what are some tips or what is that advice that you would like to give the future CAT aspirants or the MBA aspirants?
So I would suggest that first of all you should be flexible with your strategy. You shouldn't get stuck on like the same methods of doing things, and you should listen to your seniors who have given the exam before, and and your teachers. And the second thing would be to give equal importance. You shouldn't have a you should have a preference for a particular section and keep working on that, but rather you should work on all the section and give each section like equal importance, because you never know
Yes,
like in which section you will be able to do wonders when you like appear for the actual exam.
right. Perfect. Thanks a lot, Samridh. Thanks a lot for giving us such valuable insights. I'm sure it helps a lot of aspirants. Thank you so much, and also all the best for your interviews as well.
Thank you. Thanks a lot.